Hi guys, so I just got back from a screening of 65, which stars Ariana Greenblatt, Adam Driver, and Chloe Coleman. Now, when they invite you to a press screening, and it is literally the day the movie comes out, usually you think this is not going to be a good movie. Now, if you saw my trailer reaction, I was definitely excited for this film. I love the premise. Like, I was completely shocked when it was like 65 million years ago. I was like, what's going on? It's like combining future and the past, right? Is he traveling through time? Or like, what's going on? Is he just like a spaceman that, like, other civilizations were like super ahead of the times and into technology well before we even existed? Like, what is this story? What is going to happen? And it's Adam Driver and dinosaurs, and you can't go wrong there. Also, you guys know, if you've been around my channel for a while, I adore Chloe Coleman. I think she's fantastic, as is Ariana Greenblatt. So I was excited to see them both together in a film as well. We don't see them together. That was a little sad. They never, ever, ever interact with each other, and that's fine. That's fine. But I do really like both those young actresses. So I was really looking forward to seeing that, but it is what it is. Now, I went in with very low expectations because of exactly what I just told you. They literally are screening this film for us hours before it hits theaters. So do they not want people talking about it, right? I went in thinking, oh, this is going to be a struggle. Not to mention it was 9 o'clock in the morning. Is a super far drive. I had to get up at like 6:30 a.m. to get there. So odds are stacked against it at this point. And I went in, and you know what? I had fun. It was entertaining. It's certainly more entertaining than it is not entertaining. It's a quick 90 minutes, which we do not have enough 90-minute films ever, like, anymore. They're all like 4 hours or more. It feels like they're at least 3 hours. It's a long time. So 90 minutes, perfect. Exactly what I wanted out of this movie. I literally wanted to see Adam Driver fighting dinosaurs. The thing I wanted was to see those two girls together, and I didn't get that. But the rest of it, it was fun, right? It gives those A Quiet Place vibes. Now, I will say I kind of was trying not to raise expectations because the writers for this were co-writers of A Quiet Place, which is one of my favorite films. I love the intensity. I love that, like, on the edge of your seat, and then all of a sudden there's like a massive sound and you jump out of your skin. And they do have elements of that in here, okay? There are definitely some jump scares, the score's going, stuff's happening, and you're like, okay, what's gonna there's definitely moments of that, especially with, there's dinosaurs. What did we expect, right? Another thing that kind of reminded me of The Quiet Place is that, like, language barrier, right? Because in A Quiet Place, the family has a deaf son, and they know ASL, so they are able to communicate with him. However, if he's not, like, looking at them, or he doesn't know that he should be looking at them, it's really hard for them to communicate. And so we do get a little bit of that in this, in that Adam Driver is the pilot of a ship. It crashes. There's one girl there, and this is Koa, and she doesn't speak the same language as him, right? They speak a different language. And the translator in the ship is broken, because of course it is. So, there's not a whole lot of words they can use. Now, the words that she has picked up on, conveniently, I might add, are home, move, and family, right? So he tries to explain, we need to get you home to your family, and then he can tell her when she needs to move. Those are basically the most important words for her to pick up on. So good thing it works out that she does. Wow, what are the odds? The odds are the convenience for the story. Make things a lot easier. Make things move along a lot quicker. And I'm here for it. That's a good decision. So we have that, those elements kind of A Quiet Place where they can't really super communicate. Like, they're trying to get from point A to point B, and there's like a billion dinosaurs in the middle. And they're dangerous for the most part. We don't really see any nice dinosaurs, like very few. I think like maybe one nice dinosaur, and that's it in the whole movie. But of course, like, would it be kind of boring if they're like, hey, cool, I'm gonna pet my new friend, the Stegosaurus? Like, no, that's not what happens. So they're trying to get from point A to point B, and there's not a whole lot of communication there, which means there's not a whole lot of dialogue in the movie, which is very difficult to pull off. Luckily, there's a lot of action to break things up, and again, you're really not watching this movie for the plot, so it's like, okay, cool, I'm just excited to see more dinosaurs. Dinosaurs don't always look great. Sometimes they look cool, they don't always look great. Like, there are moments where you're looking and you're like, whoa, that was a little cheap for, like, this. But then you see another dinosaur and you're like, oh, they must have put, like, all their money into this dinosaur. And it is what it is. That sort of thing just happens with films. But when you're seeing on the big screen, there are certainly some moments that stand out and you're like, ooh, could have looked better. Could have looked better. I'll move past it, but it definitely could have looked better. Now, of course, we all know 65 million years ago, what happened? This is, of course, the time they are there on Earth when the comet is going to be hitting Earth. So that's a whole thing. So now they've got to get past all these dinosaurs to get from point A to point B. And by the way, like, a comet is coming to destroy the planet at the same time. So let's just throw a whole lot more stuff into the mix in 90 minutes. And that is kind of part of the problem. It's very convoluted. Then you also have stuff with Mills' family. He has a daughter that he left behind, which is Chloe Coleman. And he uses, like, flashbacks of her and holograms. And that kind of helps put pieces of the story together and also helps kind of push the pacing forward a little bit. Is kind of the point of that early on. Then they kind of just get rid of that stuff happening. It comes here and there, but it's just not used as much as it should have been. And I felt like Chloe Coleman was underused in this film. I would have liked more scenes with her. I get it. I understand. I know because of the plot, but it felt a little to me. Then there's also something with the plot, which is, again, it's kind of hard to say without spoilers, but something happens to Mills' character. And then you see this thing progress and you're like, oh man, something's going to go down. What's going to happen? When is this going to come to fruition? And then it never does. And I'm kind of like, why put that in the movie if you're not going to have something happen with it? I felt like this was going to be the cause of something major to happen. This is me saying it without spoilers. When you see the film, you know exactly what I mean. And then they just, like, don't even talk about it. They're like, oh, we'll show you this thing. Then we'll show you this thing progressing. And then we're just really just not even going to mention it ever again. So just like, have fun. And then the end of the movie, while it was intense at moments, just felt like it kind of just, and we ended. And you're like, okay, but like, I don't know. I felt like they had a few more things they could have tied up in the end there. I would have really liked to see, especially because I had all these theories in my head when I first watched the trailer as to what this meant. Is he a human? Is he not a human? Is this how humans come to Earth? That whole sort of thing. You don't ever really get confirmation of anything, which is a little frustrating. And again, though, if you're here to watch Adam Driver fight dinosaurs, you're gonna have fun. Okay? That's exactly it. There are even a couple moments that I was like, oh, I could almost tear up here, right? I was like a little like, oh, that was a little, oh, that hit my heart. It was a little tender. It was a little heartbreaking. It was a little heartwarming at times, right? Because there's the parallel between his daughter, who is not with him, and Koa, of course, right? There's, of course, those parallels there. And of course, it's kind of like he sees his daughter as her at this moment in time. He needs to protect her, yada, yada, yada. Again, didn't really do enough with that for me to be all in, but they did a little bit with that. Again, this is 90 minutes long, and they're like, hey, we want to show you some really cool fights, so we're going to do that. The score was really good. It helped make intense moments intense. It helped make moments where you're supposed to be like, aw, more, aw, you know? And it did that. It did. I just wish... I don't know. I felt like it was missing something. Still, like I said, it's definitely more entertaining than it is not entertaining. It's 90 minutes. And if you want to go see fun and just enjoy yourself and not think too much about what happens in the movie and just kind of watch it and enjoy it, then go for it. And I think you really will enjoy it if that is what you were looking for. If you want a little bit more, you might struggle sometimes. If you're one of those people that is like, hey, they introduced this and then they never went back to it and it's going to bother you, then there's something that's probably going to bother you. Because I'm still thinking about it, clearly. I keep mentioning it even though I can't actually fully mention what it is because I don't want to spoil anything. It's a little frustrating. It's a little bit like, come on, you just needed to do something with that. Why did you even bring it up? You could have just not had it included in the movie. That said, overall, I had fun with this film. It was pretty much exactly what I was expecting. And just keep in mind, I did go in with low expectations. And it definitely was better than I thought it would be. So, listen, I'm giving 65 a 2.5 out of 5 and leaning on the fresh side of things. Go see it if this is your jam, if this is what you want to see. If you go in with these expectations, I think you'll have a good time. So I hope you do enjoy it. Now, let me know in the comments if you plan to go see 65 in theaters, and if you have already seen it by the time you get to this review, let me know what you thought. Do you agree? Do you know what I'm talking about? That thing that they introduced, and then they progressed it to the next level, and then they never did anything with it. It's so frustrating. All right, guys, be sure to give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on more videos like this one. Follow me over on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, and you can check me out at MamasGeeky.com. Thanks, guys. I'll see you next time. Thank you so much to all my monetary supporters, my members, and my Patreons. Love you guys.